Hey everybody, good morning. Welcome to iLOUmination. It is February the 4th and welcome to my channel. Okay, for this first video, what I'm gonna do is discuss a few things about your camera. Now, I did not mention it in the intro video right here, but my passion actually is in photography, and I actually have done this professionally for many years now. I started about 9 years ago, and I just haven't stopped shooting since. And lots of times, I'll have a lot of people ask me, hey, can you help me learn my camera, or can you help me understand my camera better? What does it do? What can it do? So that's a question I get asked a lot, and I, in my humble opinion, have come to know my cameras very well over the many years I have been using them, and I can answer that pretty sufficiently. So I'd like to relay that information to you guys. A little bit later on, I'm gonna discuss some follow-up questions like, what camera should I buy? Is one brand better than the other? You know, simple stuff. But for now, let's get started with the camera. Now, what I have here in my hands is actually a Canon EOS 500D, one of my smaller cameras of Canon, but still a good workhorse. You know, takes great pictures. And attached to the body is a Canon EF 50mm, the nifty 50, or the plastic fantastic, as most photographers call it. Okay, so a lot of people ask me, and I can't even believe this is still a question. A lot of people ask me, what parts are what? Now, the camera is composed mainly of 2 parts, optionally 3 parts. First of all, you have the lens here. So it attaches onto the body like so. Okay, you have your camera body, and then this is optionally, I think you can see it there, the separation, that is the battery grip. And operation of your camera is pretty straightforward. You have your shooting mode dial up there that will allow you to pick either a manual shooting mode or one of the preset shooting modes. In most camera bodies of the Canon EOS series, you have the on-off switch right below the shooting mode dial. There's also a bunch of controls. You just have to read up on that yourself. You have the shutter button. On the lower end EOS bodies, you have only a single control toggle, or dial, I'm sorry. Additionally, you also have the pop-up flash, which is you know, decent, and you have the LCD on the back. And just as well, it will also have on the right side, that is the camera card storage slot there. Okay, do you see that? Okay. And shooting is fairly straightforward on these lower end bodies, especially if you're not shooting anything manual. You look through the viewfinder right there. You look through the viewfinder and you shoot. Simple, easy. Where it gets a bit more complex is when you're talking about the manual camera settings. That is a whole different discussion. That's a much longer discussion actually. Now, aside from that, let me talk to you about the other side of the camera, and that's the lens. Now, the lens is really important because photography, coming from the word photo, is all about dealing with light. Now, the lens is the most important part of the camera, in my opinion, because it will allow you to focus the light in a more realistic manner. Okay, and let me grab one of my trusty lenses here. This is one of my favorite lenses. That's the EF 72-200. Okay, so it's a if you notice, it's colored white, and anybody or people who shoot Canon will know that that makes it a big white L. It took me and my dad a couple of years before we got this one, but once we got it, we could never go back. It's just, the photos are amazing there. I'm going to be a bit out of focus, but follow me still. Okay, so now the lens actually has 2 rings to it. Okay, the one that's near the camera body, because this is the part that attaches to your camera. So this is the rear. The one that's closer to your camera body is called your zoom ring, and this will allow you to zoom your lens in and out. The other one, the one that's closer to the other end of the lens is called your focus ring, and will allow you to focus your lens manually. Okay, so before we end this video, or before I formally end this first video, let me cover a few other topics that a lot of people ask me about. Now, the biggest one, or the first one, or the most common one I get is, should I buy an SLR? My response to that would be, are you going to need an SLR, or are you just buying it because it's convenient? The reason I say that is because a lot of people only buy an SLR because it seems like the thing to buy at the time. You know, it's one of those gadgets that's become in vogue to own. So if you want to buy an SLR, go ahead, buy one. But don't try to justify it by saying your pictures are going to be at least 10 times better. A lower end SLR is not going to get you much better pictures than an expensive or a higher end point and shoot. Okay? And I know there are going to be a lot of people that are arguing, or that are going to argue that that's not simply true. I mean, the reality is that there are certain things SLRs are very good at that point and shoots can't even do half of. But for your average consumer, yes, an expensive point and shoot is going to suffice instead of carrying out a bulky SLR. If you had a point and shoot, it's with you all the time, and you know, I'm more concerned with people getting photos, taking pictures, sharing memories, because I mean, what's the point of taking a very good photo if you're not taking a very good photo of anything? The next one I get asked a lot, is Canon better or is Nikon or Nikon, whatever. To me personally, I just have to say, it's up to you. We've come to the point of technological convergence where all our cameras, any camera on the market right now, can take amazing photos. Okay? So don't let the brand interfere with that. If you're going to be able to take great pictures with a Nikon, you're going to be able to take great pictures with a Canon. If you suck at taking photos with your Canon, switching to Nikon is not going to help. Okay? It's a matter of learning the basics, which we're going to be covering in a couple of weeks. So honestly, Nikon, Canon, Pentax, Sony, whichever floats your boat, whichever one feels better in your hands, get that one. Okay? It's more important that you feel comfortable using it or carrying it around so that you take more and more pictures. I guess that's it for this first video. I'll see you guys in a couple of days. I'm gonna upload another video on Saturday, and that should be a part 2 basically of this video. Okay, so thanks for watching my channel, and I hope you have been illuminated.